Hey guys, it's Will.
And I'm Mike.
Welcome to First Watch, the show that's part review, part reaction. Hey look, it's Killzone. Fans of Hong Kong cinema probably know what this is. This is a very well-known movie. It's Donnie Yen and Sammo Hung, who are both hugely famous. Mm-hmm. And Sammo Hung, if you're unfamiliar, was in a bunch of those movies in the 80s with Jackie Chan, and also actually directed a ton of movies in the 80s and 90s, and also some stuff in the 70s. He's been around forever. Donnie Yen, super famous now, right? He's in Star Wars and everything like that. This was directed by Wilson Yip, who is probably most well known for directing the Ip Man series, which also features Donnie Yen starring as Bruce Lee's teacher. And we have Simon Yam in here, and a bunch of other famous actors from Hong Kong. So this movie is kind of like a combination of like the Johnny To, John Woo kind of Hong Kong thriller, and then your classic like Donnie Yen, Sammo Hung beat the shit out of everyone martial arts movie. Oh, Wu Jing is in this movie, I forgot to say. So Wu Jing is interesting because he's a really good martial artist and actor, but is perhaps now more well known for having directed the movie that made the most money in a single territory, I think, is his like Wolf Warrior 2 made like $850 million in China. Yeah. So that got him in the door in Hollywood. So I read not too long ago that he's been having meetings with like Sylvester Stallone and all these people about
Although I think that probably was beaten down by like Avengers 2, but
who knows?
Whatever.
Scott Adkins was in those movies. I think the Wolf Warrior movies maybe.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
But so this movie is it's a very simple setup. So the title for this in Cantonese is Sha Po Long, which is a reference to like Chinese astrology and kind of the idea of depending on how the stars are aligned, people could do very good or very bad things. And you have Simon Yam as this police detective who is not only retiring but also finds out he has terminal cancer. And he has adopted this girl whose parents were witnesses in a trial against the Sammo Hung characters, like the big bad triad guy. And he killed the parents, and so the cop adopted the daughter. And there's a lot of stuff in this movie about parents and children. So like Simon Yam has the adopted daughter, Sammo Hung has an infant, like his kid
newborn.
is like 100 days old or something like that. And then one of the cops has a daughter that he's estranged from, who he might be reconnecting with because she recently moved back to Hong Kong. And there's another cop who he's kind of estranged from his parents and maybe decides that he should like take it upon himself to reconnect with them. And Donnie Yen plays a new guy who's coming in to replace Simon Yam. So Simon Yam and his team have decided that because Simon Yam is dying of cancer and he's retiring, they're just going to go fucking ham on Sammo Hung. And instead of, they've been trying to arrest him for years, and instead of trying to arrest him or set him up for crime, they're just going to go ham, they're going to kill people. Like, it's like a really dirty, dirty cop. I mean, it mostly takes place in like one day.
Yeah, they're going to do whatever they need to do to bring him down, whether that's like planting evidence, concealing evidence. Like there's a video.
They beat up that guy with Down syndrome.
Yeah, like a video emerges of Sammo Hung beating an undercover cop, but not delivering the killing blow.
Someone else shoots
him, right?
Yeah.
But they get that video and they basically remove that bit, so it looks like Sammo Hung killed this guy because they don't really care. They just want to bring him down. And like in one sense, it's like they're dirty cops, but in another sense, it's like they are bringing down this really bad dude. So it's like, you know, some people will be pro, some people will be against, but you know, nothing works out really well for them, right?
But it's not really
it's not really.
It's an interesting movie because it's not really plot driven, right? Like you basically have the setup of we want to bring this guy down, and then it's all taking place like as it's unfolding, basically. So it's basically just people reacting to acts of violence that get increasingly more and more violent. And the last like, I would say 30 minutes of this movie is just fucking insane.
Yeah. It was really, there's some really cool
violent, and it has, well, I've seen this movie several times. We should let Mike talk about this because he's never seen it before.
I'd never seen it before, but I really liked it a lot. There's some really cool fight scenes, especially like you said, towards the second half of the film, towards the last third, whatever. The alley fight between Donnie Yen and Wu Jing with the. And Wu Jing's got his I think he has like what?
He has a knife,
right? Or two knives, something like that. And then Donnie Yen has like a baton almost, right? Mm-hmm. And they're just fighting, and then there's like shots of like him cracking the guy in the head. It's just brutal. But for me,
a very violent movie.
For me, the best part was the final fight with Sammo Hung and Donnie Yen because the differences in size, and like Donnie Yen, you see him and you're like, this guy's a good martial artist. I believe it. Sammo Hung just a big old fat bastard with an ass that's like as wide as he is tall. And this dude is like agile, he's flexible, he's skilled, he knows karate.
He was like in his mid-50s when this movie
he's just like, he's like keeping up with Donnie Yen. It's really impressive. And it's like, his punches and kicks look like they have a lot of impact behind him.
He's a big dude.
He's a big dude.
He's a big dude.
So it was really cool to see that fight, seeing the different styles between them, because Donnie Yen obviously can't match Sammo's power, but Donnie Yen's a lot faster, probably more agile, and so forth. So they're doing all this stuff, and then the ending is really brutal.
It is. Yeah, we're not going to spoil it for you.
But
it's not a happy movie.
No.
And it's part of a series. So we've watched 2 of the 3 movies, and we're going to do all 3, and we're going to do episodes on all 3 of them. But it's not a series in the way that like sequential films are series. It's not a trilogy. Like they all take place in the same universe, but they're expansions of the universe rather than being like direct sequels. Of
the way I relate it to like something similar is the Dollars trilogy from Sergio Leone, who's probably my favorite director, where all 3 films have Clint Eastwood in them, and he kind of plays the same character, but they're in like different parts of the world, and he's kind of a different character. You never really get his name, but like it's that kind of thing where like some of the same actors are in the different movies, but they play different roles. Like was it Wu Jin? In the first one's the bad guy, and in the second one he's a good guy, right?
But Simon Yam is in the first 2,
and it's kind of like the Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Mrs. Vengeance.
Oh, the Vengeance trilogy, because those are thematically connected, and they're very much like all. And we'll talk about this in the second and third ones too. But all of these movies are very much about like families and parents and children, and the ways in which the decisions that people make impact the world that they live in, basically, and they kind of create their own destiny through the things that they do.
So similar themes, similar actors, different stories.
This is definitely the most like. I don't mean simplistic in a negative way, but like simplistic in as much as it's not like about having a really clever story or like a really perfect procedural or thriller. It's really about these characters wanting to destroy one another, and like they're one night and they're just gonna go crazy. Yeah.
And so from someone who's never seen it before, who's seen some Hong Kong cinema but not like a ton like Will has, really easy to watch, really easy to follow, really enjoyable. I would say if like you've never ventured into Asian cinema, this would be a great film to start with, because it felt like a Hollywood movie to me, just, a martial arts film from Asia. But really cool. You'll recognize some actors, really fun. I don't know.
Yeah,
great.
Check it out.